From Tally to Cali,
it's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up! Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
One more Corner Pocket.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hutchavandi
and Corey Clark.
Wake up! What is up, everybody? It is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, Tallahassee, Florida. Coming up on today's show, maybe not that bad of a slate of games this weekend after all. Handing out winners, talking about practice in the Noles. Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, Tallahassee, Florida. Check them on out. CPTallyBart.com is the website. You missed out on bingo, you missed out on trivia yesterday, everybody, but it's not too late to get involved in bingo tomorrow. But in the meantime, check out Corner Pocket Bar and Grill every day of the week. You cannot go wrong. Even when Corey Clark's not there, still somebody awesome, I'm sure, to hang out with and shoot the breeze with. These are Corey's people, after all. And our own Corey Clark joining us on the road, southbound, because this guy, he wakes up, he writes excellence, he becomes a fantastic father, and he grinds. He just keeps shuttling back and forth between the greater Atlanta area and Tallahassee. Can't wait to get back to God's country, huh, Corey?
That's right. I apologize for everyone for the ambient noise of me driving on 85 South in, not a rainstorm, but a mist storm, which is really frustrating. You look on the radar, Aslan, there's nothing. No green, no blue, but somehow it's still raining. So this has been pretty awesome, but I'm trying my best, buddy.
I got you. I think that's what happened to Florida State, like on Tuesday. There's this whole big radar situation with rain, and what are we going to do? We're going to interview Coach Norvell outside. We're going to interview him inside the stadium, and eventually we did it inside Doak. We're not inside Doak, but the Morse Center, the museum, if you will, where we always do the Monday press conferences. But the audio is clean, everybody, so there is that. Check out Warchant.com, the ultimate Seminole sports source. Thumbs up, subscribe, like, all that good stuff. Our own Gene Williams getting involved in the mix there, talking about bowl games, where we want to go. And I almost feel like I've been giving everybody bad information, Corey. But, man, it was right in front of my face this whole time. It said right there, bowl affiliations. And it said that the ReliaQuest Bowl in Tampa has a ACC, SEC tie-in. It's either ACC or Big Ten, but every time I Google ReliaQuest, it says annual bowl game between the Big Ten and the SEC. So it sounds like Cheez-It, Holiday Bowl, and the Mayo Bowl were on the menu for Gene Williams and the folks on the panel. Which one of those three tickles your fancy? Again, I don't want to go to Tampa because I have to stay with my mom and then drive out to Tampa every day, and that would be a bummer.
It's not all about you, Aslan.
Well,
obviously the one in Florida is the preferable one, just for the fan base. And, it'd be cool for this fan base to see this team one last time. But other than that, who cares? So the Gator Bowl that seems like it should be a possibility at least.
Well, we can't give all of it away. Check out the video, but
that's right. Exactly right. Go on the Tribal Council and see.
Yeah. Otherwise, how about this? This is a story that we haven't talked about enough. Trey Benson, once again, the ACC running back of the week, but this is for a third straight time. It's incredible. Nothing in the release says whether or not this is the first time someone's won it 3 times in a row, which you figure they would. Well, but, some stats are harder to track than others. And then Maurice Smith. Remember Maurice Smith? Remember too small, going to get lapped by that guy from the Big Ten? Remember that guy, Maurice Smith? ACC Offensive Lineman of the Week. So 11 players now from Florida State have won Player of the Week honors. Pokey, Jared Verse, Shaheem, Johnny, Jamie, Trey, Dimitri Emmanuel, Dylan Gibbons, and now Maurice Smith. Maybe this roster's pretty good after all, Corey. Maybe this is like crazy enough. Maybe this was like an 11-win roster that won't make it to 11.
Let's slow down. So Jordan Travis hasn't won an award this year?
Not in this kind. Not with these quarterbacks slinging it around everywhere, man.
All right. I would have thought maybe when he threw for 400 yards or this past week when he accounted for 5 touchdowns. Although I guess the Drake May kid had another big game, so I assume he won it.
Yeah, he's won it before. I don't know who won it this past week, though. I don't have that stuff in front of me. But you tell me to hold on, but, I mean, shoot. I don't know. That's somebody was asking why was I asking all these questions at the press conference on Monday that were, like, negative or hinted at this team, like, not being talented, to which, I say, okay, I can maybe see why you would get that impression, but they're overachieving. Something is going on here. No one thought this team was going to be that good, including us who were out there watching this practice all the time. We saw what happened last year. We know they brought an injection of new talent. So what I'm trying to kind of figure out from this coaching staff is, like, how close do they feel they are to fulfilling the potential of this team? Because we all were like, hey, man, 8 wins. Shout out Tom Lang, 9 wins in his prediction in the preseason. So that's kind of where I was trying to go with that. I wasn't really trying to dog on these guys because, after all, man, listen, the schedule's laying out now, and the way they're playing, man, it looks like they could probably be a 10-win team. And if you don't, have a hiccup against Raleigh, man, this could have been, I don't know, is this – because this roster, I was trying to think about 2010 Florida State, Corey, right? Like Jimbo's first year. That team, we love the team, right? They beat Miami. They beat the Gators. Like, we were totally excited about it, but they didn't look impressive and dominant. You felt good about what was to come, but it was like, man, this team is just get out of their way. This team right now, it's like, man, either get out of their way or you're going to get run over. And it's crazy. I'm still trying to process it, Corey. You've been doing a better job of it, though.
I mean, yeah, if you look at the totality of these 10 games, I would say they should be 8-2. They won. They won 2 really close games, if you want to count LSU and Louisville.
All right.
But LSU, I thought they controlled that game, and they just kind of melted down in the fourth quarter. But I thought they deserved to win that game. I think they were the better team. And then Louisville, they're clearly the better team because they won with their backup quarterback and backup defensive lineman on the road. So if they played Louisville again, they might win by 21 points. So, when you look at the totality of it, I think they should be probably 8-2 right now. And that's what we've been saying. So, yeah, I guess with that theory, it could have been an 11-win team. I don't know, like, you don't want a hand wring about it, though. But, yeah, that's the NC State game is the big giveaway. But they really, honestly, I don't think they played well against Wake at all. I think if they played their normal game against Wake, or if Fabian's playing, I think they win that game comfortably. I think if they were playing Wake in 3 days, they would win that game by 10 or 12 or 14 points. But, they played them when they played them.
Let me throw you a total curveball then, Corey, here. As you talked, I usually do that. Unfortunately, I don't mean to do it, but, just kind of ramble around all the place. Was listening to my guy Rosillo on his podcast. He had Dilfer on. They were talking about Tua, who's, was kind of left for dead in Miami with the Dolphins in the NFL here, even after like 2 years. But he sort of found himself, or however you want to put it, because Mike McDaniel, coaches, what Dilfer is saying is that good coaches can identify weaknesses and mask deficiencies in a quarterback and then kind of enhance their strengths and bring it out in them. And that's what Mike McDaniel's been able to do for Tua. Kind of feels like that's what Mike Norvell has done for Jordan. Like, he's not being asked to take a lot of downfield shots. He can when he has to, but that's not the bread and butter of this offense. There's a lot of crossers. There's a lot of things that rub and come clean, and he finds and he gets out of his hands fast. Man, if he has a strong 3 games here, I don't know, 10 more touchdowns total, will GMs look at a guy like Jordan Travis and be like, man, this kid's actually pretty good, man. Why not take a chance? He knows what he can't do, and he's operating within what he can at a really high level. Can he become a real viable NFL quarterback here in the next 3 weeks in a sport that is starved for talent at that position? Like, can he dramatically change the narrative around him as a potential draft pick with 3 strong games? And none of them are really going to be showcase games, although maybe you could argue the Florida one would be. I mean, he's not going to be in a conference title game or a playoff game, but still, can these 3 games be a propelling sort of force for him if he wants to go that direction, or do you still feel good about college quarterback Jordan Travis for 2023?
Well, those are 2 different questions. I do think that if he plays well these last 3 games, that's certainly in the mix. And look, man, I look around the NFL. Did you see who started for the Rams on Sunday?
No, but I remember Stafford was it John Wolford? Is he still there?
Yeah, John Wolford from
Shout
Wake
out.
Forest.
Oh.
Man, Jordan Travis is better in college than John Wolford was. And you look around the league, he could certainly make a roster. And I do think he's draftable. I don't think he's going to be drafted high because, again, he's not considered elite. He doesn't have incredible arm strength, his size, durability issues. There's all these questions about him. But, yeah, man, you can't watch him and think like, okay, yeah, he doesn't he doesn't see it well. He does see it well, and when he gets time, he almost always finds the right guy. The time is, and that's what's helped a lot this year is he's gotten a lot of time. So I think a GM and scouts could look at that and be like, yeah, that could play in our system. He sees the game. He's a competitor. He sees the field. So yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know what throwing for 300 against Florida or 260 against Louisiana. I don't know that is what sends him over the top to like, yeah, I got to go now, as much as what, just what he's already accomplished, what he's already done. Like, I think he's got enough film that unless he just goes insane or has a couple of bad games, I don't know what could happen that would change his mindset one way or the other. He's already had a fantastic season. So it's just a matter of if he thinks what he hears back from the NFL, or if he's, like you said, he's having so much fun, it doesn't matter. He's not going to be a first 2 day. He's not going to be picked in the first 2 days. So at best, you're looking at probably a 4th or 5th rounder. And those guys are not guaranteed to make rosters. And even if they do make a roster, they theoretically wouldn't get as much guaranteed money as Jordan Travis would get to come back to Florida State. So those are the decisions he has to make. But yeah, man, I would not be stunned at all if he made a roster in the NFL. I've seen a lot of worse quarterbacks than that guy play in the NFL.
It's just if you look at this class, this crop. I mean, obviously Bryce Young's far and away that guy. C.J. Stroud's also a dude that's in the mix. Hendon Hooker. I almost wonder if Jordan Travis plays better than Hendon Hooker when it comes to an NFL sort of evaluation, because I do feel that Tennessee's offense is a little bit more system-based, if you will, whereas what Jordan's doing here is just so multiple and so diverse that I feel like there's got to be a good amount of crossover between NFL systems and what they're running here in Tallahassee. Like Will Levis has kind of fallen off. DJ's a guy that's draft eligible. I don't know who would draft DJ Uiagalelei. Anthony Richardson from Florida, unless he does something really crazy here in the next few weeks. I mean, it's kind of crazy when you look at this list of quarterbacks and you're like, well, man, I mean,
just all those guys, or most of those guys you're talking about, they're either Heisman contenders or they're 6'5", 235. Richardson is enormous. He's going to be drafted. He might be a first-round pick. I don't know that he's played like it this year. Certainly not all the time. But they draft on potential and they draft on size. And Jordan doesn't have it. Sorry, the size anyway. But, man, yeah, and he doesn't have an incredible arm. He doesn't have – I would say his arm strength is average.
But no one's figured that out, though. I mean, I know they haven't played Murderer's Row here in the month of November. And I'm with you. And I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Like, I agree. I just – growing up and what you hear about and what you see, guys like Josh Allen just rocking the ball down the field, Matt Stafford, you're just like, man, you need to have a particular set of skills when it comes to throwing the ball with velocity that we haven't seen Jordan do a lot of. But man, it hasn't affected how productive he's been. And there's probably a whole laundry list of college quarterbacks that have had similar success to Jordan Travis that haven't had a sniff at all at an NFL roster, or they've totally flamed out. So I get that as well. He's not going to be a first-round draft pick. Maybe he will be a Dak Prescott. You go 4th round, so you end up in a pretty good situation, and there isn't that urgent need for you to have to show up day one. But, come back. Then
with
still
Jordan,
go
we
later
want
on.
to come back, man. Tallahassee's a cool city. You've got it vibing, as the kids like to say. I think that's something a kid would say.
That's
You've
right.
got this place vibing. Mm-hmm. You got a chance, if you talk some of your teammates into coming back as well, to have a really kind of special run at it next year. So, yeah, go ahead and do it, Jordan. Go ahead and talk them into it. You come back too, and just live your best life, man. The NFL will always be there. You can always go try to get drafted in the 5th or 4th round in 2024. But right now, come back, try to be an All-American. Try to win a Heisman. Try to get this team to a playoff. There's a lot of goals out there left to accomplish. But also something we should talk about a lot with him, and I need to find some wood to knock on. I don't know if
I got you. I'm here.
Okay, good. Yeah. The durability. We always wondered what it would look like if he could play most or all of the games, and here you go. This is what it looks like. Really good.
Touche.
And he's, as Norvell said, he was nearly flawless in that game on Saturday, and I just think that he keeps getting better. He's really, really good, and he doesn't care. They don't have to throw it 40 times with him. He makes an impact on 12 throws. And then next year, if he comes back, I think you go almost a little more hurry up because you have so many weapons and you want to run more plays. So you would probably, you want to throw it 30 times and run it 50. Man, it's just, it's a really good place to be in again, where Florida State's wondering if skill players will leave early. That's been a minute. So, that's a good place to be in by and large.
This is all just wild, Corey. A guy that was an afterthought at Louisville, transferred to Florida State, can't get on the field for 2.5 years or whatever. Now we got, 10 wins? Maybe this guy's an NFL draft pick. I need to relearn. I need to go to some sort of podcasting school. Here's how to podcast when you actually have a good team to cover. I feel like, I don't know, maybe I found my niche, podcasting a team that's bad. They're not bad anymore. They're not bad. I don't know what to do. What do I do with my hands, Corey? What do I do with my hands? You folks know what to do. Win. Win big. You can do it over at MyBookie, mybookie.ag. So many sports books are out there, but you need a platform that just makes it simple to bet and win, like mybookie.ag. They have a huge selection of odds, props, and contests. They stream games, and you can live bet while you watch, so you can turn game day into payday with MyBookie. Sign up for free today. The promo code is WAKEUP. You got a half deposit match, Corey. We've given out too many winners. They're not doing a full deposit match. They're doing half. So if you put $100 in the kitty, they'll throw 50 your way. Again, the promo code is WAKEUP. Bit of a handicap here for Corey this week because he's on the road. I'm going to start at Bedlam then, Corey. Somehow Oklahoma State is catching 7.5. It's going to be in Norman. I get it, but man, this is the last Bedlam game. You think Mike Gundy is going to lose to some carpetbagger?
Right.
Maybe he will, but he'll keep it close. So 7.5, Oklahoma State will take those points. Let's go Big Ten. Rutgers at home catching 19.5 against Penn State.
Oh, boy.
That's a lot of points. I mean,
Okay.
Penn State could easily win by 21, but I think they'll win by 17. So I'll take that. And then rounding out my picks, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, I guess, right? South Alabama, 7.5-point favorite at Southern Miss. I don't feel great about it. I don't. That's kind of a tough place to go into, The Rock, Hattiesburg. Yeah. But I'll trust the Jags to win by more than 7 points. Well, those are my 3.
Let me give you my 2.
All right.
I like TCU at Baylor.
Okay.
I think they're giving up 3.
Correct.
I think TCU feels like they're on a special roll. They just went into Texas and won, so what's Waco? They can handle that if they can handle a fired-up Texas team. They have a good defense. Defense travels, and I just think they're a better team, and they feel like they're having a special magical season, and they might be, and they still are very much in contention for the playoff. Mm-hmm. So they got a whole lot to play for. So I'm taking TCU and giving the points.
Okay.
Next one. Man, I know South Carolina just got boat raced by Florida, and I know Tennessee scores 50 on everyone not named Georgia. But, man, that's a lot of points. That's a lot of points. South Carolina's going to a bowl, man. They're 6-4. I just think, and they have a pretty good defense, and I just think that's a ton of points. Weird things happen on the road. They're coming off an embarrassing loss, so they should be completely focused and fired up. So I don't think South Carolina's winning the game by any stretch, but I think they can have it somewhat close in the fourth quarter. So there's my other pick.
All right.
And now I need to ask you to look up the spread for the North Carolina-Georgia Tech game.
Okay, I think it's
you
20.
You don't have to look it up. I'm taking North Carolina.
I think it's 21. It is 21.
more than that.
North Carolina's favored by 21.
No, they're not.
Yes,
they're
they
only
are.
favored by 21 points.
Yeah, 21.
That is my. Where's that game? I guess it's being played in Atlanta.
No, it's in Chapel Hill, big dog.
You can't be serious. They're only a 21-point favorite, guys. This might be the lock of the century. I'm gonna take out savings for this. I'm gonna take out live show donations for this. Yeah, man. Georgia Tech is down. Jeff Sims isn't on the team anymore. The freshman that can play at quarterback, he's out for the year with a broken clavicle.
Oh,
so they got to play the Zach Gibson kid. Zach Gibson versus Drake May. I mean, this is North Carolina. I know North Carolina doesn't have a great defense. Georgia Tech couldn't score on 2020 Florida State right now. So that just seems like free flipping money. So, yeah, North Carolina should win by 40 at least.
There you go. The winners. TCU -3, South Carolina +21.5. UNC minus 21. Bedlam, Oklahoma State getting 7.5. Rutgers getting 19.5 at home against Penn State. Then South Alabama giving 7.5 on the road in Hattiesburg. Those are our picks. We'll let you know how it goes Monday. You go over to mybookie.ag. Use that promo code WAKEUP. Darion Williamson. Trending good. Figured we probably would have been able to maybe hopeful to see Winston Wright maybe before Darion Williamson would return for the Noles, but they were hopeful, Mike Norvell says, about his return. I mean, they have an embarrassment at riches at running back, maybe even now at wide receiver if he makes it back, and we assume Winston Wright is I don't know, probably shutting it down this year. Maybe he ends up playing in the bowl game. Obviously, he can play a game here because he has 4 games to play and maintain a redshirt. He has the eligibility in any event. I know there's so many other things to look forward to with this team right now, but a guy like Darion, I guess maybe you're not expecting all that much because he has missed so much time. But, man, I don't know if any guy's ever had 5 catches so quickly and then kind of just fallen off the side of the earth. That it'd be sure be nice to get another look at him and see what that gives you for next year as well, Corey. What do you think about Darion, or is it just that much of a logjam at receiver that you don't think he's even going to be able to really find another way to carve out a niche here in these next 2 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, I would assume if he's going to carve out anything, it would be this week. I can't imagine him playing, even if he's healthy, playing significant snaps against Florida, not because he's not good enough. Well, he hadn't practiced in 6 weeks. He hasn't played or practiced. Or, sorry, he hasn't he hasn't practiced really. He hasn't been full health for 6 weeks. You guys can see that on the sideline. So him not getting full reps, I just wouldn't think he'd be ready to go when it comes to actual playing in a game. And man, the receiving room right now, where does he play?
Wow.
I mean, and that's too bad. I mean, you really do feel bad for him because those were a really impressive. I mean, it was like a 3-minute stretch. He had like 98 yards in 3 minutes and then nothing. I joked on headlines that those Boston College kids probably a couple days ago, man, I wonder how many yards 21 has. I think he's up over 800, man. That kid was awesome. And then they look like, the only catches he had all season were against us. That's cool. But, yeah, man, he looked really good for that stretch. And then, unfortunately he got hurt and just hasn't been able to, work himself back in the rotation. So I'd be surprised, really, honestly, unless it happens this week, that he or Winston Wright. I guess you're right, though. The bowl game. Yeah. Maybe they both play in the bowl game. You got really nothing to lose there.
Yeah. I guess, again, you feel pretty good about what you have right now to go
Correct.
Up against Florida and Louisiana this week. Which, not to go back to winners or anything here, but, man, good of Wake or Vandy rather. Good of Vandy to actually look like they have a pulse because that's who Florida has this week. They got to go to Vanderbilt.
I
got to
almost
go to
picked
Nashville. I mean, it's 14 points, not a big deal, but I kind of appreciate the fact that maybe Florida definitely has a more game opponent, I would think, than Florida State has this week. So that's something good that we haven't really kind of mentioned at all this season. But then again, we got in trouble looking at people's schedules and who they played the week before us. So maybe we shouldn't do that.
I don't know, man. I would say Louisiana and Vanderbilt on a neutral field is probably a pick 'em. I know that was a really nice win for Vanderbilt. I guess their defense is okay, but their offense is atrocious. And I almost picked that. I'm like, there's no way Florida's going to be in a game with Vanderbilt. I think Vanderbilt got their one win. They feel great about it. Now they can just be Vanderbilt again. But yeah, you never know. I mean, it's better than them playing like Eastern Washington. I mean, Vanderbilt does have, they just did beat Kentucky, and Kentucky beat Florida. So theoretically, there's a chance, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, they lost to Missouri by 3, lost to South Carolina by 9, beat Kentucky. So it's all off the heels of getting throttled 55-0 against Georgia a month ago. So
yeah, maybe that's what I'm holding against them. Is that game was just, it looked like the varsity versus the JV, but that's good. So their last 3 games, they lost by 3, lost by 9, and 1.
Yeah.
All right, well there you go. So Clark Lee over there showing showing a little spunk.
Anchor down, man. Anchor down. Nothing much else to share about practice on Tuesday in terms of observations. They did in period 3 go to kind of like more of a red zone situation, which we've seen them kind of do that. I think they did that coming out of the bye week, but then they returned last week to going, kind of full length of the field. So good to see them kind of dial that in I think the drive finished. I don't even know if they ran 3 plays before Ryan Fitzgerald trot out there and had a chip shot field goal. But they certainly are still continuing to drill goal line, red zone stuff. The only other thing of note, somebody asked about it, I remember last week, and I said I try to keep an eye out for it. It's hard to – a lot of these freshmen that you guys want to know how they're doing, they're in black scout jerseys, and their numbers change like literally every day it seems, or at least week to week for sure. Was able to kind of spot Antavius Woody, the interior lineman out of the state of Alabama. He did start his career here as a guard, but he has moved now to the defensive line on the interior. Chippy dude. He was more grumpy than I was, kind of scuffling a little bit with some teammates. So it was good to see some fight, but I only saw 3 plays, and nothing really went his direction. And it's tough to judge when they're on scout because you don't know if they're being asked to not go 100% or what their responsibilities are. But he continues to practice with the defensive line, and he was giving some guys the business after the whistle, but not the offensive linemen. Because I think he respects them, because, all right, you guys are my brothers. I saw him. He actually patted Maurice on the rear end after one play to, give him props for a good rep. So
yeah, that's an interesting aspect. I didn't even think about that. Like, all those guys he's been in the meeting rooms with and working with, now he's got to go up against and try to beat. That's interesting. Yeah.
So, all right. Otherwise, we're going to let you get out of the whole show without – I know it's been a day or so now. Corby, you have any thoughts on the basketball team? Listen, man, a lot of people I like out there on the podcast, on the boards, in the comment section, the videos. Man, a lot of fire ham people.
Give me a break. Really?
Yeah, no, I
just don't know how people like that. Like, how do you live life? Like, oh, this meal's terrible. I don't ever want to eat food again. Dinner sucks. I hate the concept of dinner. I'm a brunch man now. Look, man. I tweeted it during the game. It just makes me sad to watch. Now, clearly there have been I think some guys have not developed like you'd want them to, but they're down half their team, just like they were down half their team last year. And it's like, when is enough of this? Like, yes, that roster that team is currently constructed with the injuries and the suspension to their most talented player should still beat Troy. I get it. But none of these guys have ever really, the whole concept of Florida State is you're going to play 24 minutes a night. We're going to play as hard as we possibly can, man-to-man, full court, wear these teams down, and that's how we win games. It can't happen. They got outscored on the bench 31-9 or 31-5, something like that, Monday night. It makes me sad because 3 years ago, he had one of the best teams in the United States. 2 years ago, he had one of the best players in the United States in Scotty Barnes. And now he's 0-3, and they've lost home games to Troy and Stetson. And the Gators are coming Friday. So they're very likely going to be 0-4 unless something dramatically changes. So it just makes me sad. Not that Ham can't coach anymore. The injury bug keeps killing this team. Losing Jalen Gainey was enormous. Not having Baba Miller for half the season is enormous. I mean, that's their tournament hopes right there in those 2 players. And they're gone. So now you look at this team as it's constructed, maybe 9 or 10 wins, maybe. So it's a bummer. It's just a bummer. It makes me sad because I like that program and I like that man.
I don't want to go out on that, but I just want you to be able to at least, give the people some kind of perspective on what's going on and why we can't just, rush to get rid of the guy that, has breathed new life into this program. But it is, and I just wonder, the whole 18-strong thing, you would think that, you'd be able to roll with the punches when you face this kind of adversity, when you face guys missing time. But the fact of the matter is that they're also really young, man. And he talked about that, and I touched on it during the wrap-up of it on the podcast the other day. But, man, Caleb Mills is one of your, leaders, your older, experienced leaders. He's one of your experienced leaders. Cameron Fletcher is. And these are guys that didn't come into your program.
They're second-year guys. They're also second year in your program. They're not 4-year guys. They're 2-year guys.
Yeah, so – they got the Gators. But the Gators lost FAU, though, Corey, so that
helps. Yeah, that helps. Maybe if Florida State can find some magic. I was hoping Worley and Cleveland would be better than this in year 2. And maybe, it's early. It's still November, so maybe they find something. But Cleveland especially, he should be one of the better players in the ACC, and it's just not happening on either end. And he doesn't rebound well. He can't. He's still not a great shooter. Worley either. But man, I do want to say, like, they played 6 guys in that game. Again, this is a team that wants to play 11. They played 6 because they have 4 guys hurt and their best player suspended. So when you're playing 6 guys, they're playing 38 minutes a game. So I do, at least I know it's a very, very low bar, but they are, when they're out there, they're playing, I think, about as hard as they can. It's just not nearly good enough. And they've got to find a way to get. And look, man, Duke's won championships with 6-man rotations. So that's not an excuse necessarily to not be good. But yeah, man, this is a team that thought they were going to have 11 strong, like really a rotation of 11, including a really big difference maker at center and Jalen Gainey, like an impact player to go along with Baba Miller, who's an NBA player, and they didn't get either one of them. So this is what you're left with. The Corhin kid is trying. I think he could be good. He's got some stuff to him for sure, but he's not ready he's 3 games into his season. He's 3 games into his career, and he's having to play 28 minutes a game, which is not what they had in store for
34. He played 34 on Monday.
That's crazy, man. I think he's a guy they might have thought about even redshirting if they had all their players.
Yeah.
But they don't have McLeod. He's still out. He's hurt. Baba Miller suspended, and then their other center is hurt and out for the year. So they have to play this guy.
And Cameron Fletcher's got such a bad back that he's not even practicing.
Yeah.
They just roll him out there on games.
So it's 2 years in a row. It's not fair, man.
Yeah.
The basketball gods already screwed Leonard with COVID, and now he in his swan song, because my man's 74. He's not be doing this for much longer. Here, as he's built this program, it feels like injuries are crumbling it to the ground. So, come on, basketball gods, get with it.
On the way out, did see somebody.
You want to get over? Just get over, man. I'm not here. I'm just driving along. My bad. Sorry.
Oh man, we're gonna at one point we'll do dashboard cam so we can actually have Corey on camera while he's driving.
Love that. 285 in Atlanta, man. This is hell on earth.
Yeah, we won't even say what time it is because you guys are thinking it's like 5 in the morning, but it's not 5 in the morning. We don't record that time of the day. But how about DeAndre Francois? This is over on ESPN.com. The new XFL season kicking off not long from now. I don't know the exact date. He's one of the starting quarterbacks slated for the upcoming season. He'll be the Orlando Sentinels. Sorry, the Guardians.
Yep.
One of the Orlando Guardians quarterbacks going to balls against Quentin Dormady, who played at Tennessee. So he just got to beat out that dude. That's crazy, man. Good for him.
That's T-Buck's team, right?
Yeah, man.
All right, man. Nice. And he's from Orlando, I think.
He is, correct.
So, yeah, he's going home to slinging around a little bit. That's good.
Previous professional experience, the Glacier Boys and the FCF back in 2021. Then he played with the Blues in the TSL in 2021. Then he played for the Board Ape Football Club back in the FCF last year or earlier this year.
All of that sounded made up. You literally made up words and initials, and I would have been like, yeah, sure, all right.
AJ McCarron is even in this league. So there's dudes out here trying to make it happen, man.
Well, good for them. Not giving up on the dream.
Yeah,
Still throw the ball around a little bit. That's cool.
All right, we're going to be back with the Renegade Express for you folks tomorrow. I think we'll actually have a recruiting chat live later today if you're interested in that kind of thing. Probably 6 o'clock with Michael Langston because Thursday is going to be our live show for the pod, Corey, yes?
Yep.
Okay, very well. In the meantime, check out Jeff Cameron, 1 to 3 o'clock, the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 FM, as well as Warchant TV. That's our YouTube channel, Warchant TV. So don't be like, oh, I got to subscribe to another channel on my Fubo. No, it's YouTube. Type in Warchant. We're right there. And we'll be out at practice. I'm probably going to sleep in, everybody. Not going to lie. It's been a long few days for your guy. But we'll have interviews and observations up on warchant.com afterwards, so do check that out. For Corey, I'm Aslan. Thank you for listening and riding along with us here on Wake Up Warchant, presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.